G'day there, guys. Kanye, what are you doing here? G'day there, guys, the voice that you fall asleep to and wake up to at the same time. It's your main man, Markee, and welcome back to another episode of r/Am I the A-hole? Now, if you love today's bloody good content, I want you to hit that like button. If you don't like it, I want you to hit that like button. There is no choice. Sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the Barbie, and enjoy the bloody good content. Thank you. Posted by user throwra39213112. Titled, My, male 25, parents threaten to disown me if I don't get cosmetic facial surgery ? I was born with bilateral cleft lip and palate, and my parents brought me to the US at a young age so that I could get better medical treatment. I've had countless surgeries over the years to fix the birth defect, and during my last year of high school, I had 5 surgeries back to back, with a few weeks rest in between, to finish up the last of my procedures. It was an extremely painful time for me, and I suffered depression for years afterwards due to the whole ordeal. As an added cherry on top, I missed half my senior year, didn't get into most of the universities I applied to, and my friends told me, in a well-meaning way, that I looked the same when I reunited with them. I did manage to get into a decent university and worked my way through my depression, without parental support or therapy for the most part, and I've now mostly come to terms with everything. I have one more surgery left that would get rid of some post-surgery scars. There are 3 scars, one that goes from the top of my lower lip to just past my mentolabial crease, and 2 scars that are where my philtral ridges would be. They're definitely noticeable when I don't have facial hair. When I grow my beard out, the scars on my upper lips aren't visible, but the one on my lower lip is to a decent extent. The procedure is an hour-long in-office op, so not a huge deal, but it's 100% cosmetic and not needed health-wise. I hate hospitals and don't ever want to enter another one unless required for my health. To this day, I get uncomfortable even when I'm watching people get their blood drawn on TV. There's this quote I saw on the TV show House MD, Season 4, Episode 7. The main character, House, was talking to a patient who wanted cosmetic surgery for a serious facial deformity that he had. House replied by saying, "It'll only change your face, it won't change who your face made you." It sounds silly, but that quote has stuck with me for years, and is one of the main reasons I've refused to get the cosmetic procedure done. I also see my scars as a litmus test. If you don't want to associate yourself with me because of them, great. We don't have to waste each other's time. But if you see them and still want to be around or near me, you're the type of person I want in my life. I'm 100% at peace with the way I look, and because of everything I've gone through, the bullying, surgeries, struggles, etc., I'd say I'm even more open and confident with my face than someone who hasn't experienced what I have. My parents have always provided a roof for me, paid for my surgeries, given me 3 square meals, etc. But they've also been very verbally abusive and manipulative. We butt heads on everything from my career choice to my hobbies. I currently live with them, but I'm working to move out. They've been wanting me to get the last surgery done for years now, but I've refused for the aforementioned reasons. Whenever I try to explain my point of view, they refuse to listen and say I'm naive. They also said that no one will marry me and or give me good job opportunities due to the scars, but the only one who ever even brings them up or makes me feel uncomfortable about them is my parents. Now, I've recently been cutting my hair very short, because I've been going bald. I like the new look a lot, and it leaves me with more confidence than long hair. But my parents despise this length and forbade me from cutting it that short. They think no one will hire me for jobs because I look bad with it. Literally everyone else except them thinks I look good with short hair. But I've been setting boundaries with them, and have been getting it cut regardless of what they say. It leads, however, to a fight every single time. I got it cut today after a month of letting it grow out, and before I went to the barber's, my mother tried to stop me. She claimed I was being disobedient, making her health worse, and that my behavior would be the death of her. Stuff she's said to me since I was a little kid over the most meaningless things. I ignored her and got the cut. When I came back, I got into an argument with both my parents. They pointed out that I haven't been listening to them as of late, and I firmly told them they had no control over what I do with my body. Out of nowhere, my father said, "If you want to cut your hair like this, then fine. I can't control you. But you will get your last surgery done, and if you don't, we're never going to speak to you again." My mother agreed that they'd never speak to me again if I didn't relent, and my father pointed out that they spent years seeing my surgeries through. He said that it wasn't fair for me to refuse to get the final procedure done after everything they'd gone through to make it all happen. He claimed I was denying them the chance to see the end result of my surgeries. Truth be told, it felt really good to hear him say that he'd never speak to me again. It happened hours ago, and I'm still riding that high a little bit. I've been planning on going minimal contact with them for years now when I finally move out, and this seems like the perfect out. As for our relationship, I try to have as little contact with them as possible, even though we live in the same house. I stay in my room or go out a lot. But they're not the only ones who want to see me get the surgery done. I have a grandfather who also expressed that he wanted to see me after getting the scars removed. He's one of the few people in my entire extended family who I'm happy to be related to and isn't a total piece of garbage. He's quite old and his health is deteriorating, so I can't exactly wait years to decide if I want to get this surgery done. My parents' comments about everything they went through, regardless of how little I care about what they want at this point, did make me pause and think. The procedure is quite easy to go through by all accounts, and although I really hate hospitals, I'm sure I'll push through the experience. I've been through far worse. Should I get this procedure done for the sake of my grandfather and my parents, or should I stick to my resolve? It's mostly for my grandfather's sake I'm asking. Edit. Some further information to help you guys better understand my mindset and attachment to my scars. I copied and pasted this from a reply that I made down below. I always wanted them to accept me for who I am. I've given up on that now, and they've never done that. They've always tried to change me, and have put me down every single time I expressed myself in any way, whether it was career-wise or hobbies or anything. So at this point, I'm just not giving them this. The scars, in so many ways, represent who I am and everything they've tried to change. I don't want their approval if they don't give it to me as I am, so I won't get the surgeries done. Also, part of me feels like, if I do meet someone that I want to spend the rest of my life with, how will I know if that person would be cool with me if I had the scars? I don't know. I feel like it's a deep insecurity that I have to get rid of. And also, they do tell a story about me. I don't think about them all the time, only when my parents bring them up because they're the only ones that do so, but on the rare occasion they come up, they remind me of everything I've gone through and overcame, all the childhood bullies, surgeries, etc. Edit 2, since it was asked in the comments, I was born in India, so Asian culture definitely has a hand in the dynamic. But I've been around other Indian/other Asian families, and mine isn't in the mold at all. While the Indian-Asian community does have some work to do when it comes to losing bad parenting practices, my experience is definitely not standard. If the other Indian/Asian families knew the way my family dynamics were, my parents would straight up be shunned. I say this because I don't want to perpetuate any stereotypes against the Asian community. In certain cases, it becomes difficult to come out and criticize your community as a minority, because you invariantly may be helping people who don't understand the whole situation spread stereotypes and generalize about you and your people. And in the comments, Hengin says, "They're your scars. If you want them, they're yours to wear and take pride in." I get where your parents are coming from, but honestly, it's your body at the end of the day. They should be equally grateful that all surgeries up until here have gone well, and be grateful that you're happy, despite having to go through it all. While you should respect that they have paid and worked hard to get the money for those, you should also respect yourself. And OP replies, "Thanks. This is the mindset I've had, but sometimes I can be extremely stubborn. something I no doubt got from my family, so I try to get other people's perspectives. Also, the scars are a hell of a pickup line, lol. Okay, I feel like you're being a teeny bit disingenuous in your reasoning for not getting the last surgery, but you're the one living in your body, so you say what happens to it. And given the fact that you say there's nothing left wrong except a few scars, who cares? Also, I'm sad to say it, but you're right when you say the scars are probably a litmus test for quality people. Your parents, however, are acting like effing lunatics. If that's the hill they want to die on, let them. And OP replies, so why do you think I'm being ridiculous? I'm genuinely curious and not trying to be confrontational. Only the tiniest bit. And honestly, I'm going to take back the word ridiculous because it's really not fair. I feel like the scars have gotten bound up in a need to rebel against your parents as a symbol, and given what you've written here, rebellion would be perfectly understandable. They are overbearing as hell, as well as a kind of badge of honor, symbolizing what you've gone through. I would just caution you that you don't imbue them with so much meaning that you feel like you have to keep them if you ever change your mind about the surgery in the future. Does that make sense? All that said, you should do exactly as you want to do with regards to the surgery. You may decide that it's more practical to just get it, since you live with your parents and they're threatening to disown you, and times are effing rough at the moment. But whatever you decide right now, do not ever forget that your parents are authoritarian a-holes. And OP replies, damn, yeah, that's actually 100% on the mark there. I very much do want to give them a big FU. And MRSC 1880 says, I was in an accident years ago, which left about a third of my body with burn scars. Your parents are absolutely wrong about not being able to find a partner who will accept your scars. They are being way too harsh. But maybe in their opinion, they've spent so much time and money trying to fix you, and they're almost at the finish line. I feel like this would be the end of their 25-year plight to make things right for you. I'm not saying it's right, but just possibly seeing it from a different perspective. Do what you want, it's up to you to decide what's right for you. I wish you all the best. And OP says, I totally get where you're coming from. This is why I made this post. Not to have everyone agree with me, but to get honest answers to see if I was being unreasonably stubborn. Thank you for your candidness. You've given me much to think about. Edit. Also, I'm very sorry to hear about what happened to you. I may not have gone through exactly what you went through, but I can sympathize with some of your experience. I hope you're in a better place now. And now on to the update. After the large argument I had with my parents 3 months ago, about 2 weeks went by before my mother brought it up again and started pestering me into changing my mind. I didn't want to get into another argument, so every time she or my father started speaking about it, I simply mumbled along with, and okay. Their tones when talking about it can be described as calm and almost sweet, but in that unhealthily condescending way. During her rants, my mother often also tells me that a good son would listen to his parents and I shouldn't harass or disrespect them by disagreeing. Today morning, when I went downstairs to get some breakfast, my mother casually told my father to set up a doctor's appointment for me to speak with a surgeon before getting the procedure done. Dumbfounded and flustered, I asked her who gave either one of them permission to do so without my consent. She responded by saying that I had indeed agreed to it last time we talked about it, i.e., during one of her rants. I had completely droned her out at that time, as I often do during her rants, and apparently nodded and mumbled yeah or something, and they had seen that as a green light. I told her on the spot it wasn't going to happen and went upstairs with my breakfast. On a side note, I eat all my meals in my bedroom and spend most of my time there because when I sit down at the dinner table or with my parents, my mother incessantly criticizes me, brings up all the mistakes I've ever made, and recalls all the hurdles she and my father faced in life because I was born with cleft lip. And of course, my personal favourite part is when she talks about how I need to achieve great heights in life so that I can put to shame everyone who spoke ill of her, my father, and me because of my birth defect. About 15 minutes later, my father calls me downstairs and the duo confronts me. I point out I didn't say yes and how I was just mumbling along, but they don't accept this answer. They pointed out, yet again, that they moved their entire life to the US from India to ensure I had the best medical treatment and life possible. They went on to say that I was being extremely unfair and cruel by saying no, because they waited since the day that I was born to see my face after it was fully fixed. They also brought up that my grandfather, who's living in India, wanted to see my face after the surgery too. This point particularly hurts when I hear it because, out of everyone in my toxic family, my grandfather is one of the few people who I love and who has been good to me. He has expressed his desire for me to finish the surgeries, but he's always been kind about it and has never made me feel like a bad person. My parents also claimed that my face is holding me back in life. They think that if I get the procedure, I'll have better success in my career and people will treat me better. They said if I don't, no woman would want to marry me. My mother even said that my sister, 17, would have problems finding a husband in the future because of the way I look. I replied by saying I'm happy with my face, and that the only ones who treat me differently because of the way I look is them. I also said that I'd never want to marry anyone who was that shallow either. My father replied by claiming that me not getting the surgery will make the lives of anyone I end up marrying difficult. I told them that it's my face, and whatever happens, I'm the one who has to wake up to it every day and not them. I told them multiple times that I don't care if anyone treats me differently because I genuinely like the way I look. My father then asked me if I'm planning on living in a jungle far away from other people, and then told me that I know nothing. He claimed that he knew better than I did how people treat me. Upon hearing this, I just started laughing at how absurdly stupid, ridiculous, and insulting this statement was. I even angrily pointed out how ridiculous that statement was. He told me that while I may have started noticing how people treated me differently when I was 5 years old, that they have been noticing it since the day I was born. Now, this part is important. They both went on to tell me about how much effort it took to keep me alive when I was younger because of all the health issues I had. How people told me that I was probably going to end up dying because I was a weak baby, etc. They talked about how they, my parents, told them off and raised me to prove everyone wrong. Mind you, my mother was brought to tears during this whole ordeal. Up to this point, I had been sitting there completely numb and exhausted at the same cycle repeating itself, as it had for a few years now. But after seeing their emotions and hearing what they were saying, something clicked. I had an epiphany. I realized just how much they're still scarred from this experience. From their perspective, they need to see this through for their own closure and happiness. Sure, they feed me, kept a roof over my head, and genuinely love me in their own unhealthy and toxic way, but that, minus the toxicity, is the very basic minimum any parent should do. They've done a horrible job of raising me, and I despise them. Even if they woke up tomorrow, did a total 180, and became amazing parents, I still wouldn't want to mend fences with them because they've hurt me too much. I don't want to waste energy hating them, I just want to move away and start my life with their presence in it being non-existent. But I've witnessed how much they've suffered due to the backstabbing, rumor-spreading, toxicity, and bullying people hurled at them. All because of how I was born since I was a little kid. I may know what happened in the past, but I don't remember it because most of it happened when I was a baby. For them, I think my final surgery would help them put an ugly chapter in their life to bed in some twisted way. I should also note that up until this point, I've had the mindset of if they, my parents, don't love and accept me for the way I am, then I don't want their love. And before today, I had perceived their lack of acceptance for my decision as a clear sign that they don't love me for who I am, or even respect me enough as a man to let me make my own choices. I still think both points are true. But today, I really understood their reasons for wanting me to complete this procedure. As for me, here's the deal. As odd as it sounds, I genuinely feel attached to these scars. I see them as a symbol of all the ugly things in my life that I've overcome. They're a symbol of my strength, and they're also an amazing litmus test. If I meet a person that treats me badly because of the way I look, I'll be happy because it tells me everything that I need to know about them, and I won't have to waste my time with them. But if I meet someone who treats me the same despite my scars, I'll also be happy because it tells me everything that I need to know about them, and I'll want to keep them around. The funny thing is, I don't even get mistreated by anyone for the way I look. All of that literally ended the day I graduated high school. I'm now a super outgoing and happy person in regular life. The only one who brings up my scars and makes me second-guess my own attractiveness are my own parents. The scars are noticeable, but not even that bad at all. And here's the final, and arguably the biggest reason I don't want to get my surgery. One of my biggest dreams in life is to fall in love, get married, have a happy and healthy relationship with them, unlike the relationship my parents have with each other, raise amazing kids, unlike the way I and my sister were raised, and break the cycle of abuse in my family. But I'm afraid that if I go through with the procedure, then even if I end up meeting someone, I'll never know whether she'd have ever given me the time of day if I still had the scars. I'm going back and forth between getting the surgery for the sake of my parents and being enraged, humiliated, and hurt by the idea. Part of me wonders if I'll ever be able to look at myself in the mirror the same way again if I cave in. The other parts wonder if I'm being cruel and ungrateful by denying them this. My consultation with a doctor is the end of this month, and I'm sure they think I'm on board with it now. I just feel more anxious and lost than ever, and have no idea what to do. Edit. I should note that I live with them, and while I very much want to move out, I can't afford to do so right now. I've been hunting unsuccessfully for out-of-state jobs, but haven't had any luck so far. Edit 2. Jesus Christ, this blew up. Okay. I want to thank everyone for their kind words. I'll try to respond to as many as I can, but it's too many people, lol. So I've been thinking about everything I've written since last night, and a few things occurred to me. The last round of surgeries I went through were truly brutal, so I'm very hesitant to get even the most simple outpatient procedure, like the cosmetic one, done. Hell, even if I see a needle on TV, my left hand kinda starts shaking a bit out of fear, so I don't want to go through that again. I could, because again this procedure is rather simple as I understand it, and I've been through far, far worse, but the process was humiliating for me last time, and still to a degree feels humiliating. It feels like I'm admitting to the world, yeah, I'm ugly, so I'll bend my knee and change myself to your standards for acceptance. I don't want people to like me because I conformed to their standards. I want them to like me for who I am. I'm glad I got your perspectives because it made me realize that perhaps I overvalue my scars. The other half of the coin is, I don't want my parents' approval if they don't give it to me for who I am. I've come to realize, based off your comments, that part of me is holding out on this just to spite them and show them they can't control me. I just don't want them to win on this one. I want my decision to be respected because it's my decision. I don't want to be told I'm wrong or they know better or any of that. It's my way of taking autonomy and power/control back in my life. Plus, it's the fact that they don't even respect me enough to accept my decision on my own body. I feel like even if I said yes, I'll be proving them right in some way. Part of me dislikes the idea of being happy if the surgery was a success, because then my face would be a testament of them being right and exerting their influence over such an intimate and permanent part of me. I guess that's something I'll have to address with myself. And regarding me living with my parents, I'm applying for jobs and interviewing, but it's been difficult. I'm not mooching off my family, I help around the house with getting groceries, and I help them pay bills with the money I have. I do as much as I can. Edit 3. I just wanted to say this one last thing. I've spent more time thinking about my scars and questioning my own attractiveness in the past 2 days than I have in years, and that's entirely on my parents. I haven't even noticed the scars in a while till they brought it up, and now it's in my mind that even though my parents love me in their own twisted way, they'll always see my face as ugly until I change it, so that they can feel validated and at peace regardless of what I want. But I've spent so much time fighting them over this on principle that I haven't really allowed myself to consider whether the surgery is good for me, regardless of my parents' wishes, if that makes any sense. I've also realized I'm using the scars as a way to spite them, and I have an unhealthy attachment to them. I'll try to remove everyone else's voices from my head and seriously open myself up to the idea of getting this procedure done, because acting out of spite, pettiness, anger, and hurt is never the right way to make good life choices. Whatever choice I make, it'll be for me, myself, and I. Finally, I'll obviously try to move out ASAP, and I'll be getting therapy regardless of whether the procedure happens or not. Thank you to everyone who commented, and thanks specifically to those who challenged my point of view without harassment and made me broaden my mindset and perspective. G'day there guys, and that's the end of today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed it and were entertained by today's bloody good content. As always, I want to do a quick shout out and a thank you to all my channel members and Patreon subscribers. Your beautiful faces and names will be up on screen right now. Haven't forgot about you guys, sorry I was taking a little break there. So yeah, if you see yourself, give yourself a pat on the back. If you want to be on this screen, there's links down to the description below where you can sign up and help support the channel and all future projects that I'm going to be doing on this one. With all that said, I hope you guys have an amazing day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to. I'll see you in the next episode, and I do hope you enjoy it. Thank you.